Guys, you will not believe what happened to me yesterday night. My Chinese health code suddenly and out of nowhere turned to yellow. Now, what's the deal with all these Chinese health codes? How do they work? What happens if you get a yellow one? And how did I resolve the problem? I'm about to share with you in today's video. I am Mark from Mark's Adventures and welcome everyone. Before we start, what is your understanding about these Chinese health codes? Have you heard about them? What is your opinion on them? Let me know in the comments below. I'm able to walk and move freely on the streets of Chengdu, which, to be honest, doesn't help a lot because still most restaurants, bars, gyms are closed, so you cannot do a lot of fun things. But this wasn't the case 24 hours ago. Yesterday evening, I received a text message that my health code is going to be turned yellow. That means, basically, you cannot even leave your community. You cannot go into any supermarket, into any mall, into any building. You cannot go by public transport or basically do anything else. So you can say, if you have a yellow or a red health code, you are forced to stay at home until it turns green again. Now it's 2022 and most of you already know that China is still extremely serious about preventing and basically everything with coronavirus. These health codes are a very important tool in China's strategy against COVID. As long as you're green, you're fine, you can go anywhere, you can travel, you can enter all the buildings. Once you turn yellow, it means you have to quarantine at home. If you're red, you'll have to go to centralized quarantine. So what happened after my code turned yellow? I had to register with the neighborhood committee. They took my information and they also asked me where I went, if I went to any high-risk areas, and so on. Basically, they told me don't go anywhere, but I had to go to a special place for taking PCR tests for just only for people with yellow health codes. So obviously that's what I did. I went there in the evening. It was around 7:30 p.m. and when I got there, I realized I was by far not the only person in Chengdu whose health code had turned yellow that night. But see for yourself. As you can see, there's hundreds, maybe thousands of people lining up. The queue was several hundred meters long. And as you can also see, when I got there, it was still bright. The sun was still shining, basically. And when I finished, it was already 10 p.m. It was already dark. It was already time for bed almost. So it took me 2.5 hours to wait in line and get my PCR test done. Now today I got back my test results negative, obviously, and everything is fine because my health code turned back to green, and that means I can basically go outside now. I can go anywhere right now, so everything back to normal. But basically this is daily business here in China with all the measures and all the strategies to prevent COVID from happening, even if you're not positive, even if you just are a threat or a risk, you still have the possibility or the risk of being quarantined at home or even in a centralized facility. Do you guys think that's a legit and effective strategy? Would you agree to quarantine at home for 1 or 2 days and take 2 or 3 COVID tests? I would like to hear your opinion on that, so please let me know in the comments below. So what had actually happened to my code? There's 2 possibilities. One is I went to a place unknowingly, obviously, where there have been cases or where someone infected has been in the last 7 days, or just any kind of risk area. Maybe I just passed by, Maybe it's where I went shopping for groceries. Maybe it's where I met my friend. It is also possible that during my daily activities, I just ran across someone or I met someone who is a high-risk person. So there's a lot of ways how you can mess up your health code, how it can turn yellow or even red, but there's basically no way to be 100% sure what happened, what did you do, where did you go, and what made your color change. So even though I have my green health code back and I can move freely, but the community management still has ordered or advised me to do at least another test today night, 24 hours after my first test, and the best would be if I could do another one tomorrow night, just to be sure. Obviously, the majority of the people sticks to the rules, and that's also what I'm planning to do. But it's another perfect example of how strict the whole situation with COVID is in China. I just got back home and now it's the perfect time for coffee. Anyways, that was my little exciting story. What happened to me yesterday? It's probably hard to imagine to anyone living outside of China in 2022 that it can be that strict. But this is actual reality and day-to-day life here in China. Now, I want to know, what is your opinion on all this health code, testing, quarantine story? Do you think it's necessary to still maintain such a strict policy towards COVID? Or do you think it's just all too much? How would you deal with this situation? Let me know in the comments. It's time to wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed today's content and if you are as surprised as me about the strictness of COVID policies in China, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more interesting videos about my life in China and the rest of the world. See y'all in the next video.